Design principles are guidelines that help designers create visually appealing and effective designs. We can call them rules to great designs. Let's bring back our cooking analogy. With the elements of design, you now have your ingredients, but you're not done yet. You need to know how much salt, how much Maggi, how much pepper, when to add them, and how much water you need in making a good meal. In the same way, design principles will guide you in creating good designs. Let's look at these principles. Number one, we have alignment. When creating alignment, we work with invisible lines. These lines serve as content pillars that text and elements rest upon. We can categorize the types of alignments into three. One of those is edge alignments. In these kinds of alignments, text and elements are aligned to the left, right, top, and bottom. Remember, we're working with an invisible line. So the text or elements or group of elements will appear like they've been placed against a line starting from the left, the right, the top, or bottom. Second, we have center alignments. Our invisible lines are placed at the center of the text and elements vertically and horizontally. The third is justified alignment. Justified alignment is mostly applicable to text. For this kind, text is aligned along both the left and right edges, with extra space added between words to make the lines stretch. This alignment is often seen in newspapers, magazines, and formal documents. It creates a clean, block-like appearance, but can sometimes result in uneven spaces between words that we usually call rivers. Each alignment type serves a different purpose, depending on the style and message of your design. Choosing the right alignment can significantly affect how your design is perceived and how easy it is to navigate. Back to our design principles, we have hierarchy. Hierarchy in design refers to the arrangement and presentation of elements in a way that signals their importance. It guides the viewer's eyes through the contents, starting with the most important elements and moving to the less important ones. By establishing hierarchy, we ensure that the most critical information is noticed and understood first, and that the design flows naturally. This principle answers the question, what is the order of importance of the elements in this design? To illustrate this order of importance, we use things like size, color, font weight, style, spacing, positioning, and more. But the main core is we're creating a visual scale of importance. Hierarchy in design organizes content so viewers can easily identify the most important elements and understand the message. It guides the viewer's eyes, ensuring clarity and improving the overall usability of the design. Our third principle is contrast. Contrast is the difference between two elements, like color, size, shape, or texture. It uses opposing elements such as light versus dark, large versus small, or bold versus regular to create visual interest and draw attention to specific parts of the design. It helps to differentiate and highlight key elements, making content easier to read and understand while guiding the viewer's eyes. There are a few different types of contrast. We have color contrast, and in this kind, we use contrasting colors, for example, dark text on a light background, to make elements stand out and be more readable. We also have size contrast, and we use this varying the size of elements like large headings and small body text to establish hierarchy and draw attention. We also have shape contrast. And in this one, we're mixing different shapes like pairing round objects with sharp edged elements to create a more dynamic and interesting composition. We also have font contrast. And here we're combining different font styles, e.g., bold versus regular or serif versus sans serif, to make certain text elements more prominent. We have texture and material contrast. And in this, we're using different textures or patterns, smooth versus rough, flat versus 3D to create visual depth and distinguish between elements. All of these help in creating groups of information. You'll notice in documents where you have headings that are big and bold, subheadings that are bold, a little bit smaller, and regular text that are formatted at normal style to help you move easily from heading to heading, subheading to subheading, and body text to body text. Contrast is crucial in design because it highlights differences between elements, making important information stand out and improving readability. It also adds visual interest, preventing the design from feeling flat or monotonous. Our fourth principle is balance. Now, balance refers to distributing elements evenly across a design. So think about the X and Y axis, splitting a design canvas into four parts. Balance can be symmetrical, so all the elements are same weight on both sides, or asymmetrical, where there are different weights but it's still balanced. Balance makes the design feel stable. If one side is much heavier than the other, the design can feel off or uneven. It's like having a scale and ensuring that there is balance on all sides of the design. Our fifth principle is proximity. Proximity is the grouping of related elements together to show a connection between them. Proximity helps organize information and create clear relationships between elements. Items that are close to each other are perceived as related. Our sixth principle is repetition. Repetition is using the same design elements. So, for example, spacing, color, shape, font, style, and more, multiple times within a design. Repetition creates consistency and ties the design together. For example, repeating a specific color, space value, or font style throughout a design can help unify it. Our seventh principle is movement. Movement guides the viewer's eye through the design in a deliberate way, often leading them to key elements. It can also be used to guide the viewer from element to element, making it easier for people to engage with and understand the content. At number 8, we have white space, or can also be called negative space. So white space is the empty space around design elements. It doesn't have to be white, it just has to be empty. White space gives a design room to breathe. It helps avoid clutter and makes the important elements stand out. It can also make a design feel more elegant and balanced. At number 9, we have focal points. The focal point in design is the specific area or elements that captures the viewer's attention first. It serves as the main visual anchor and is often the most important part of the design, guiding the viewer's eye to where the designer wants them to focus. Without a clear focal point, the design can feel cluttered or confusing, making it harder for the viewer to engage with the content.